You know it's super fly when Day Bar is opened. Hip-hop review, news, plus breaking new artists, pop culture, current events with an urban view of it. This is all things hip-hop, delivered raw, unpolitically correct, the fans' perspective, putting all artists in check. Dope content, current hot by remarkable men. Our thoughts, clearly. Welcome to Audio Theory.
Yo, welcome back to the Audio Theory podcast. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button as well as the like button. What's good, Danny? How have you been?
Doing great, bro. You looking sexy. We are looking sexy right now.
Yep.
All right, so we got the merch on. So let's give people honest feedback. So one, obviously the colors are fire. I think once we have them in person, we're like, that is phenomenal. Another one is the inside material is actually very comfortable, right? Like that's another plus on this. Again, that's like it looks good and it feels good when you're wearing it, right? There are some cons. Are there any, which ones do you want to share just so people are better prepared when they're purchasing it?
Yeah, for me, the only con, honestly, is it can be on the slightly snug, tight side. I actually do like my stuff fitted, so I'm not complaining as much now. I think it just depends if you're the type to wear kind of like bulky shit under your hoodies, you might want to opt for the size that's a little bit bigger. But other than that, that's kind of my only con.
Dude, totally. That's like the only con I have. It's that there's not a lot of give. So even getting it on, I was like, oh, this is about to be fucking tight. But then once it's on, it's actually pretty loose on me. But yeah, it's snug at the bottom, towards the waist. So I would highly recommend, if you like to wear things a little bit more baggier, I would definitely go with a size up. And then also, dude, this is not being important. This is not Egyptian cotton, you know what I mean? So I would highly recommend everyone air dry this because there's a chance it might shrink. But otherwise, though, if you want a quality hoodie, great fucking material, it's gonna look good. And again, the logo is ridiculous. So shout out to whoever made this in Pakistan. Bro, yeah, I think it's a purchase you'll be very happy about, and everything's available in the link in the bio as far as where to support the movement.
100%, yeah, totally unbiased review, and we're being honest about that. I was pleasantly surprised. We never really used, or I've never used Spring or Teespring in the past, and I assume that this service, since it's kind of one of those more generic bulk services that a lot of other influencers or online personalities use, that the quality might suffer, but I'm pleasantly surprised. So if you're on the fence, definitely go for it.
Yeah, go for it. Again, we comped more than one. We put our money into it. We did get these for free. So again, you're going to be very happy. Again, and the colors, if whatever you see online is what you're going to get. So this green is exactly the green I wanted, and that's the Carolina blue that Blair wanted. Do you have any sneakers in mind to rock with that?
I do have some Nikes. I forget the exact model, but it doesn't have the Carolina blue on it, but it has kind of a pastel green and pink on the bottom, but it's mostly white. So I figured with this light colorway or whatever that it would blend pretty well.
Is that the one you're gonna bring to Colombia?
Possibly. I'm definitely bringing this. I might bring a more generic shoe, just all white Nikes that I have, but I might bring that as well.
Yeah, I meant the hoodie. Yeah. I'm bringing. I'm bringing the. I got the black hoodie, so I figured black hoodie, some colorful shorts, and the fucking backdrop of the water. Woo! It's gonna be lit.
yeah, I'm excited for that.
All right, so let the people know what we're doing. So we're gonna be next week, right? Because it's happening. We have Blair's bachelor party. His last shindig before he's locked up for life in San Francisco. So let the people know what our plans are for next week.
Yep. So Thursday, well, some of us, Wednesday night, we're gonna be taking a red eye to Colombia, Medellin to be specific, for my bachelor party. So we got a sick ass Airbnb in more the upscale area, I guess you could say.
I feel like Medellin's. I know you've been more than me now. This will be your third time, right, or second time?
Second.
Okay, I guess. But I feel like Medellin just felt like that was all upscale, bro. It was weird. I was surprised. Everyone's rich here. What the fuck's going on?
Right. Maybe maybe the area that we were both in was kind of sheltered from like the super hood areas.
Yeah, that's probably what it was.
But I know our area is supposedly one of the nicer ones. Everywhere I went, what did seem pretty nice. To your point, though, so we're really just gonna be partying at the Airbnb. Like if you guys see the pictures or were to see the pictures of it, it's a massive place with like 10 bedrooms, pool, jacuzzi, pool table, like a DJ room and everything. So we're gonna be doing that for basically 4 days in a row.
Yeah.
At least the people who want to stay up and do that.
Yeah, it's going to be sick. We'll post a couple pictures with the merch on over there, supporting the movement globally. We'll put the Audio Theory playlist on for a couple songs. Like, it'll be good. So, but that being said, we are going to take next week off just so we don't have to stress about editing and getting this out on time and doing a bunch of marketing things in the background. So, this episode might be a little bit longer than normal, but if it's not, we got plenty of episodes to catch up on. One of them being the West interview we just did last week. So kind of wanted to use this time to kind of like just go over it a little bit, give people a little bit of a recap. So let people know who West is if they haven't checked it out yet. And, we can just jump into like kind of like how we thought the interview went.
For sure. Yeah. So West is an up and coming rapper / singer / songwriter, and I think even producer from the Bay. So I linked up with him through a mutual friend who I was basically asking if she had any rapper friends that, I might be able to network with. And in that process, as Danny and I were, scouting out people for interviews, he actually came to mind. So random by Danny, we both, loved his music and
Love
thought
the
he'd
music.
be a good personality for the show. So we brought him on. Super great conversation, just about him kind of quitting quitting his job to pursue music full time and just go all in and
Must
build
be nice.
confidence. Right? Yeah, I know. Shit, I was thinking about that ever since then. I'm like, damn, should I just quit my shit too?
This shit, 9 to 5. This.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the talent's there for sure, and he's on a mission to be the biggest ever, he said. So obviously a lot of work and time is going to come with that, but he seems really focused and confident in his craft. So shout out to him for joining us.
Yeah, dude, like totally agree. It was a great, I'm not saying one of our better interviews because I'm grateful for all, 8 interviews we've done. But it was unique because I feel like even though like maybe Joey had like big ambitious plans, right? Because he had the vision board and he was talking about he wants to do, sell out shows eventually. And shout out to him. I think he actually has his first ever performances coming up in Ohio, so that we'll put some of that stuff online if we find it. But to West, I never heard someone that up and coming with like clear like, yo, I'm gonna be the biggest, or I want to be the biggest. That was pretty dope, right? Because a lot of people just like, yo, I want to get on, and if enough people listen to me, that's cool. It was cool that he was like very like, no, like if I'm gonna do this, if I'm gonna like quit my 9 to 5, like I'm not just gonna do it to be another rapper or another singer. Yeah. Like, I want to be the best at this. And hopefully that leads to this and hopefully leads to that. But it was cool to just be like, I want to be the biggest at this. And not because of fame and fortune, just because I want people to think my music is the best. So that was dope.
Mm-hmm, for sure. And I guess that would kind of go hand in hand with him quitting and pursuing it full time because, it'd be kind of odd to be like, I'm going to go all into something, but I'm going to hopefully just be average or a little bit average. It's like if I'm quitting my job to do this shit, like I'm going all in. He talked about how, some songs have like, I could have sworn he said he will mix them and have like 90 drafts or some shit.
Yeah, like 76 versions of like, I think he said of Ghost or something like that.
Yeah, and in my mind, I'm like, I just think about my own songs. Like usually I'll have maybe 4 or 5 max, but obviously everyone's creative process is different, but
right.
He clearly I can't even speak. Cares about his craft.
We got Meta G on the mind.
I know. I just saw like a bunch of inappropriate shit. But he clearly cares about his craft, and I feel like that's kind of what differentiates the people that get on. I know you and I could have sworn have shared a couple, I don't want to say memes, but like Instagram clips about people saying the only difference between me and the person who didn't get on is that I didn't stop.
Yeah.
So I think that's a huge lesson for everyone who's trying to get on in anything.
Yeah, dude, I love the part that he was talking about. Like, I think we asked him for advice. I'm actually going to post this tomorrow on the page, so if you're listening, it's going to be one of our stories. But the one about, like, we asked him for, like, advice for up-and-coming artists and future, like, I guess, entrepreneurial. Because, like, even, like, when I was listening to, like, the clip we posted during my hike in Dallas when I was with my girl over the weekend, even she said, like, the way he speaks, you can just tell, like, not that other people don't take this seriously, but, like, he really looks at this and speaks about this like his business. Like, he is a business, and like he's gonna approach things the right way. But I really enjoyed what he said to other artists, like, who are up and coming, as far as, like, keep your circle so small and curate it to a way that no negativity ever gets to you. You know what I mean? Like, all you're getting in that is positive reinforcement, right? Because if you're letting people around you also bring some negativity into it, like, your ego is probably already so, like, fragile in the beginning that could just shoot your fucking confidence, right? So I like the idea of, like, curating your circle, and then also, you know, just, like, again, the part of, like, try to be the best. Like, wake up thinking I'm the best. Like, you know, give yourself that own confidence boost. So, like, yeah, man, like, it was honestly pretty inspiring. Like, fuck rap aside, I'm sure you were inspired for, you know, your own career. Obviously, we're inspired for the pod, but, like, I think if anyone who wasn't even into music were to hear the majority of what he said, he would just be inspired to go pursue whatever that is, that thing that you've been thinking about for so long, like, you know, a hobby, like with my girl, like her interior design company, or, you know, whatever. I think you would hear Wes and you're like, damn, like, why am I not trying that full time? Like, why am I dying for this company? He probably doesn't give a fuck about me. Like, you know, right. That corny saying, like, they're the same day you die, they'll also post there's an opening for your position. You know what I mean? Like, they're gonna move on. So
right.
Yeah, so that shit was definitely very inspiring and just pretty cool to hear from someone who's, I don't think he's even 30 yet, right? From the way he was speaking. So
yeah, probably not. Yeah, 100% agree with that. I think that's also a challenge that I have, and I'm sure we both have, even with the podcast, is like when I post a new song, obviously when you're on the come up in any industry, like, a lot of growth comes from being receptive to feedback and knowing like what works, what doesn't. It's not like a Weeknd or a Drake where, you know, they can post their albums and, you know, still make millions of dollars and walk away. Obviously, you have to pay attention to feedback at every level. There's no way Drake isn't listening to CLB feedback and making tweaks or writing a song about it or something as we speak. But the difference is, you know, they've already accomplished things, whereas someone like me on the come up, if I see like 5 negative comments like kill yourself, your shit's whack or whatever, sure, I might ignore it, but at the same time, like, seeing that shit can really steer you away and, like,
it's like, what am I even doing it for?
Yeah. And fortunately, for the most part, like, my feedback has been good, because, you know, the people who tune into my shit kind of stumble upon me in various ways that I guess they will be more receptive to it. But there were a few instances where people said some shit and I just had to, like, remind myself, like, oh, these are trolls. Even like the person who wrote like 3 paragraphs on one of our previous videos, like, I know we'd like to think that we're not fazed by everything, but sometimes when you read that shit, you're like, damn, like, did this person even consider all the shit I said? Do they know, like, there's another human being on the other end of this that, you know, is just trying to, you know, get their opinion out in a respectable way? So I just thought I really appreciated that kind of part of the conversation and shielding out the negativity, because it's tough.
Yeah, for sure. And the comment that he's talking about to our recent post, I think a couple of posts ago, was like, I think it was a Karen Civil conversation, right? Yeah. And it was like, I think, you tell me if you're wrong. Like, again, we're human, so not to say that we're not phased is, you know, you're lying. But I didn't care for the most part. The only part I took, like, offense to, quote unquote, was the do your research part. Yeah. Like, tell me, like, I don't know, that's the part that was, like, a little, like, jab in the gut to you as well. But I was just like, bro, fam, like, we're, like, this is audio theory. So I feel like when we come up with this whole, like, idea of a show, it's people giving different theories on subject matters that, again, no one has the facts besides the people in it, right? So we're just sharing our thoughts. I was like, yo, what exactly do you want us to do besides find a topic, get a basic understanding of it, and then discuss it based off our own understanding or knowledge and concepts of life. So I was just like, I'm not really sure what you're looking for, but at least we had other people back us up in the comments, which is dope.
Right. I think that individual is upset, like mostly with the title. I have a hard time believing a lot of these people who comment on the internet read or listen to the entire video clip of whatever it is that they're watching. So I imagine the title kind of pissed them off, and I guess it was like somewhat abrasive, but it really wasn't that bad in my opinion. But yeah, I never really liked the whole do your research comment, just because I mean there's only so much research any of these people who weren't there with Karen and join her on every call would know. Like, sure, maybe Joe Budden or somebody would like have more information, or Charlamagne,
because he probably knows Karen directly.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like,
right. But at the same time, we'll listen to Charlamagne or read some article, and then we'll get as much information as possible and kind of lay out initial thoughts. But we're never saying, okay, Karen's guilty or Johnny is guilty for a fact. We're just giving our opinions, and if people don't like it, that's fine. I just thought it was interesting that that person felt the need to write 4 paragraphs. And I'm not gonna lie, I've written comments before that are long, but I'll never take the super angry, aggressive route, because it's just not worth my time.
Yeah, that's a great point, bro. But yeah, to bring it back to West though, yeah, guys, especially if it's you guys are gonna be missing us next week, I would definitely recommend. It's like a 45-minute to hour long interview. Super enjoyable. Again, a different voice, a different background. I love the Asian background because I just know from growing up in India, like those conversations, like the ones that he had with his parents, are a real thing. Like they raise you assuming you're gonna be this one thing, and then like you come at them when you're late mid-20s, like we're not doing that anymore. Like I've been in rooms with my boys where they're like, bro, I just want to quit this job, but my mom will literally kill me. I'm like, no. They're like, no, she will kill me, bro. Like, I cannot tell her. So it was just cool to know that he almost like a PowerPoint presentation. So yeah, super inspiring. It's up everywhere, so go check it out. The YouTube video, get to see what he looks like. He's a super nice guy. Definitely, we should try to kick it with him whenever like we're all like in LA or something together. All right, man. But speaking of comments and shit not working. I think yesterday was fucking a great case study for the future of what this world has become. So on October 4th, for 6 long, painful hours, Instagram was down, Facebook was down, and WhatsApp was down. And dude, the same thing that happened to I think both of us last time. I immediately assumed my internet was fucked up. Bro, I was turning on the Wi-Fi, turning it back off, unplugging it, blowing on it, putting it back in. I'm like, bro, what is happening? And then I realized when like WhatsApp and Instagram were down, I was like, oh, it's. I assumed to come back, and I feel like last time it took like 20 minutes, if that. Like the fact that this shit took 6 hours, I was like, yo, what the fuck is going on? I guess like the stock went down like close to like $16. They were saying that's like the equivalent of like close to like $7 billion for Zuckerberg, which again, he makes that like in taking a shit. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's probably the equivalent of like you and I losing like $20. It's like, all right, bro, like it's fine. But what was your whole, like, how did it impact you initially? Like, how did you, those 6 hours, like how did your 6 hours yesterday feel like?
Like you, when it first started off, I was like, my internet's fucked up, or like, I don't know, I've been watching too much shit online, and my phone was like, yo, you need to chill the fuck out. Like, I had no idea what was going on until I went on Google, and I was like, okay, everyone's dealing with it. That's when I immediately stopped trying to like refresh Instagram. I'm not gonna lie, for a minute I went to Twitter just to see, kind of scope it out and see what.
The memes on Twitter were great. It was like, welcome everybody, your first time here.
But I still will never really get into Twitter. It's kind of one of those like necessary evils for me when it comes to posting and stuff. But I mean, the 6 hours, it was great because I didn't have to see the same bullshit that for whatever reason I keep gravitating towards when I'm on there. And I've already tried, I've muted a lot of like meme pages and stuff. I only follow them. So if other people send me them, I don't have to follow them and that shit. Yeah, I thought it was great, and it was kind of like quarantine. I was like, we need this shit for for longer for people to realize how addicted they are to this shit and go live their life.
Yeah, I agree with all that, bro. I feel like for me, it was weird because I was refreshing a lot for like the first hour, and then I saw that it was down, and I was like, oh, okay, let me just like stop, and then like let me go do other things. I think I actually had a pretty productive day with my with work, and then yesterday, my boy whose wedding it is, who I went for the bachelor party 2 months ago, his wedding's in January, and we had like a best man day yesterday where him and I went to pick the suits for the wedding, and we took his 2 younger brothers out for dinner, and we surprised them, letting them know that they're going to be groomsmen. And like in all those moments, I was just present. You know what I mean? I was never like on my phone, like, oh, let me capture this, let me post this. Like, it was just like present, which was dope. And then like, so I really enjoyed that. And then I was thinking back to the day, I'm like, wow, like I didn't waste like, 15-minute breaks or 20-minute breaks during the day when I should probably be working or maybe doing something else productive, not like maybe just go for a walk, like not looking at fucking thought pages and, what did academics post the last hour that,
right.
Is a big deal maybe to the pod, but like in hindsight, is it really a big deal? Like, am I that intrigued or whatever? So yeah, it was just unique to like personally, and I guess you kind of felt the same way. Like I felt like I'm not wasting time. You know what I mean? Because like, yeah, you would have to think, and I know back in the day they had different, like people probably read the newspaper, just watch more TV. But I guess this is like the equivalent of that now, like just scrolling literally aimlessly on your phone. So it just felt like nice to have like your life back per se. So I wonder just to see like what the long-term outcome is, right? Because like, dude, for people to go who are addicted to go 6 hours without that fucking vice, you would think that would have some long-lasting effect, right? Like, maybe like I'm intrigued to look at my own like going through my phone today. Like, did it drop off from what a normal Tuesday is? Because like yesterday I had that break. Like, I wonder like how that's gonna play out.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like people probably on average
right back on that bitch.
Like nothing ever happened. Like memes were, have been fucking skyrocketing, and I don't know. I know for my use at least, it's back to normal.
Is it? Okay.
But I still every now and then do consider hopping off of it. I know for the for the pod and my music page, like I have no choice, which is fine.
That's my thing, bro. Honestly, like that's my thing. Like I low-key want to do it, but like I cannot see right now what's the road to promote the pod without doing it. Like if you told me there's a way to just do this shit via YouTube or some other way, then I legit would be all about like, I need like I'd try a month cleanse. Like, I don't want to be a part of social media at all. But then it's kind of hard where we're getting most of our news from it. Like that lets us, those posts from other people let us like go do our own research and figure out what's going on, to get an update on what's coming out musically. We follow certain pages. So I think it'd just be hard, or not, almost impossible to really come with content that's what the people want and we think it's deem appropriate to talk about. And then also how the fuck we're gonna promote this bitch if that's what what we're trying to do is just grow this fucking, platform.
Right. Yeah, I think the only choice would be if we were to like not log into our personal pages and then Audio Theory's page just literally kind of like how it is sort of now, where it just follows like academics and Vlad and then the artists we interview and like that's pretty much it. Obviously we'd still see content, but it wouldn't be endless like 4 hours
dots.
Like, even that I had to do cleanses, but like I still every now and then I'm like, fuck man, like I've literally have made this a habit to where if I have 2 minutes of idle time, I just log on to Instagram to see if someone messaged me, see if academics posted some shit, and I know it could be better served elsewhere, even if those little bits might be useful for the pod or for my own music.
Yeah, that's a good point though, man. Like I didn't think about that. Maybe like because I have a birthday coming up in a couple of weeks, I might think about doing that. Maybe I'll add a couple more pages to follow on the Audio Theory page, and like maybe like the first month of my new year, just like take a full month off. You know what I mean? Like just not be on it, right? Because, bro, like shit happened yesterday, and it's fine. Like no one knows about it, and it's okay. You know what I mean? Like yeah, there was people whose birthday it was, and maybe they didn't get the IG love they expected, but people still love you. You know what I mean? People still texted you, and if they didn't text you or call you, then thank you that much. You know what I mean? Like, if we're being completely fucking honest. So like, I think like Lil Duval posted something where like, one was like, oh my God, Instagram's down. Like, how am I gonna post the pictures from my party this weekend? And he's like, did you just only have the party to post the pictures? Like, you know what I mean? So like, and then you're like, oh fuck, maybe I did. You know what I mean? Like so yeah, I think I'm actually might do that. Maybe I'll add like 3 or 4 more things to follow just so we can stay up to date, and then just take a break. Cause it's just like, it's nice to have a break, bro. Like, just like, it was nice. Again, after the first hour of like realizing what was going on, and like I still need to work. I still need to prepare for my day. I still need to be there for my boy. I need to be present and drink some wine and not fucking have to do a gay ass boomerang of ding. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Yeah. So I might try that.
I also had to mute like some people I know in my personal life just because it got really excessive, whether it was like back-to-back political posts or just like thoughty ones that serve me no purpose or were just flat out annoying. Like, and it's nothing against them, but at a certain point, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, why do I care what memes you're reposting? Why do I care about your ass every Wednesday?
Yeah.
Why do I care about, your political views? Like, that's fine if you feel strongly about it, but I don't give a fuck about it. And to me, it's almost like every individual motherfucker calling me and being like, yo, care about this. And I'm just like, I can't handle it. So I hope eventually I have the courage to like just shelter myself from all this nonsense, because I'm positive it's affecting me negatively in some way.
Yeah, dude, it's funny you say that. And again, I know we're a music podcast and we did some research, so don't worry, we're gonna get into that in a second. But it's funny you mentioned that, like, affecting you. Like, I feel like, 'cause I'm looking at my own like 2021 goals, and thank God, and with my own strength and holding myself accountable, like I'm actually pretty on pace to achieve everything I wanted to, a good amount of it, which is still like great. But like, I also feel like one thing that I'm trying to shoot for, I'm not gonna wait till January 1st. Like I should start this tomorrow. Is like, I feel because of IG, like, again, we're both healthy, which is the most important, right? We both have good paying jobs. We come from great families. Like, financially, like, thank God we're in our early 30s, but we're in a good spot, right? But sometimes I feel like there's so much comparison. Like, you're just forced to compare yourself by seeing other people's life on IG, that sometimes, like, I don't want to speak for you. Sometimes myself, like, I own this shit. Like, I do, like, rich things where it's like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. You know what I mean? Like, super rich. You know what I mean? Like, for example, like, bro, like, I caught myself because I got back from, I think, Texas in the beginning of the month, in September, sorry. And I was planning out, your bachelor and then my birthday. So I'm like, the bachelor's gonna cost me this amount of money. And then I'm like, all right, bro, then I'm gonna rent a yacht for me and all my friends and family the following week. And I just sat down and do the math. And I'm just like, you're gonna do what? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, oh, but that's gonna be fire. We're gonna be on the boat. We're gonna be fucking taking shots. We'll take a dope ass picture in the back. And like, in my mind, and I can I can pay for this. I can't afford it. I can pay for it. But I'm thinking more about, that's a dope fucking feeling to do. And I'm just like, bro, but like, these are like rich things to do, but like, sometimes like you're not there yet. And I feel like sometimes like social media like forces you, like, but bro, like, if you can pay for it, just do it. Because like, you gotta show the world you're living your fucking best life. So like, but thankfully, like, I sat down, I spoke to my therapist. I'm like, bro, like, I don't really think I should be doing this. Like, financially, like, it's gonna put me in a really bad spot come November. Like, and she's like, don't do it. Like, there's no need to, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I'm trying to like be better about like, like, do things, like, be rich. And then you'll be able to do the things that won't, you'll be able to do rich things and it's not even like a double take. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the focus should be like, let me try to get to that level personally. And then the other things won't be extravagant. They'll just be things I'm able to do. I don't know if that makes sense, but I know, I just feel like social media kind of like overwhelms you. Like, you have to do rich things first. And it's not even telling you like how to get there. It's just like, do it. Yeah. It's just like, bro, like, I'm in a really bad spot financially. If I thought spending almost a couple grand in Colombia and then 4 days later dropping like 5 on a boat was okay. Like, that's not okay. So it was like, oh, but what's the big deal? Like, you got it. It's like, no, you don't, bro. Like, you don't got it like that. So And I feel like
Right.
the idea of like social media like, just subconsciously over times make people feel like you have to like stunt even if you don't have it. And it's like, nah, bro. Like I need to figure out a way to get it. I need to fucking like calm the fuck down, lay low, fucking strive for whatever greatness I'm looking for, and then in 8-9 months to a year, I'll be able to achieve everything that I'm trying to achieve.
100%. Actually, one of my new songs kind of talks about all this shit. We could get into that later, but I was thinking about this the other day as well when I was doing this song, as I was going through my stories, and I'm just like, why are we doing this shit? And I know for a fact some of the people who were posting couldn't afford to do whatever it was that they were doing, or they were bending the truth of like, you know, who was financing it.
Yeah.
And I think Wes actually said in one of his songs, like, if you can't get it 5 times, like,
oh, bro, I wanted to ask. I forgot to ask him about that shit. I was like, bro, whose brain do you have, bro? Like,
he definitely has good people in his corner. Because I started thinking about that shit too. Now I'm like, the next time I do something, I'm like, yo, can I do this like 2 or 3 times without blinking?
And if you can't, then yeah, bro, yeah, 100%.
But on the flip side, even if you can, I there's even a downside to that, because I think a lot of people want the validation of like, oh, look at me, I've made it. But I think it does build a lot of envy or resentment in ways that can come back later to bite your ass. So like, for instance, let's say we go to Colombia and post a bunch of shit, which I'm going to do regardless, but let's say you do that, and then 3 months later you're with your boy and you get drinks, and he's like, yo, you got this, right? Or something. You're like, yo, like, why don't we just split it? And he's like, well, I saw you out in Colombia, you know, partying, like, clearly you got all kinds of money, like, blah, blah, blah. I feel like it can build resentment in a lot of people as well, to the point where like they feel like, you know, you don't, like, they're entitled to shit, or like you should be, you know, financing their troubles and shit like that. You know, one day your boy might come up to you and be like, yo, can I borrow like 5 G's or some shit? And they're like, and if you of course say no, or like, I can't do that right now, they might look at you sideways like, oh, you're out having fun, but you can't help your boys. So I think that's another thing for people to be careful about when they flaunt, you know, spending habits and stuff like that.
Yeah, bro, and that's a great point. And I think we won't name names, but I'm gonna say the situation. You're gonna know what I'm talking about. I think, like, dude, think back to like when we first started hanging out, like you and I, like talking and stuff. We have a mutual friend that I think brought up to you a couple times, or brought up to your girl, that they think, like, they assumed that I was like a trust fund baby.
Oh yeah,
and you know what I mean?
Like Indian prince or some shit.
Yeah. That was, dude, like, no, at all. But yeah, like, dude, I was doing a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I was out and about and like doing shit, and I was also single, and you know, it's so much nicer to ball the fuck out when you're not paying for somebody else. You know what I mean? But yeah, bro. So like facts. Like I've been there as well, bro. Like friends, family, like, you know, they'll make a little comment, like, you got that, bro, you rich. And I'm like, fam, what are you talking about? Like, you know what I mean? I got bills as well, dude. Like, I think even like Kanye has a line, like, but I think Ty Dolla $ign says it, but it's like, don't hit me with that bill shit. We all got that. You know what I mean? Like, bro, like, we all got expenses, fam. Like, maybe mine's a little bit like, yeah, you got yours, but dude, like, I have shit to worry about as well. So yeah, dude, the social media shit does come with a lot, bro. That's a great point. Like, sometimes I think, like, because no one knows my finances, but yet I sometimes I see myself as the one people assume is going to take care of shit. Just like, where does this assumption come from? You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, am I my own worst enemy? Because maybe people see me, like, again, I get it. Like, bro, it's the 10th month of the year. I don't think there's been 1 month that I have not left the state. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always doing something, so people just assume, like, this nigga's rich. Like, what are we talking about, bro? Like, buy these drinks, you know?
Right. Or, like, I mean, I've had even people comment that, like, me and my girl are always traveling, which it was true at a certain point, but, like, it was, a lot of the places weren't, like, by any means bougie. Like, we drove to Vegas or, like, this place, and when we do travel, a lot of times we are very particular about, you know, the places that we're staying at, and like planning ahead and shit. And when you break down how much it costs to actually do a lot of these places or things,
it's not terrible.
Most of the time it's not crazy, and the people saying this are usually people I see buying fucking $3,000 bags or spending all kinds of money on other shit that could go towards this. And this was actually our ex-roommates who, like, I found out made some of these comments, and it's like, bitch, if you didn't buy these pair of shoes that were worth $1,200, you could have bought a flight to fucking Texas or something, and paid for the Airbnb. So I think it's all about perspective, and obviously it's human nature to kind of compare and see where you are in life. But I think that's the biggest thing for me, is like, I don't want to get distracted by like, oh, this rapper or podcaster made it at this point and we're not there yet, so now I'm gonna go to sleep at night feeling like a failure and shit. I kind of want to just mute all that shit out and focus on like our own small wins, as opposed to seeing what this other person's doing.
Dude, totally, bro. Like, yeah, like I would love to like mute this shit out for a minute, and then like when we eventually come back, if this thing is still like, this is still a thing, like, how relieved, like, bro, like why do I give a fuck? Like, oh, you haven't posted in a minute, like, oh, is this dude breaking up with his girlfriend? Like, why do I care, bro? Like, if we're boys, like, I would know about this through conversations. Like, why am I becoming a detective on fucking IG stories? Like, who gives a fuck? So yeah, dudes, I definitely like the idea of muting our personal pages and just focusing on how to make the pod bigger. Because bro, subconsciously, bro, you're a fool. You know what I mean? Like, what Kanye has that line, like, how do you stay faithful in a room full of hoes? Eventually you don't. You know what I mean? Like, eventually you don't, bro. So we keep putting ourselves in, like, these predicaments on social media. Like, all the things we say people should and shouldn't do, like, we're going to end up doing, bro. We're going to, end up wasting time. End up fucking, going through someone's page you probably shouldn't be on. End up on some fucking IG thoughts, It's just like, at some point, just remove yourself from that situation. Let's just see what else can happen in your life. So, yeah, man. So I think it was a good lesson. And, again, I'm sure, like you said, a lot of people probably went right back to normal. But, hopefully the few who decided to make some changes, they see some benefits out of it, bro. But let's get into some music. I do want to talk about your own couple songs, but we'll save it to the end right before Heat of the Week. So I guess the biggest thing out of last weekend, and I took some time off social media actually over the weekend while I was in Dallas, but the biggest thing was the Meek Mill drop. I believe so, right? I could be wrong, but Expensive Pain came out on Friday. Cover was fire. Some shit like you would see at the Met or something, like super well done. So shout out to him and his team. I think he signed to Rock Nation and Maybach Music still, so kudos to them for putting that together. But your thoughts on the album, bro? Because I think from initial conversations offline, we have different perspectives on this one. So your thoughts on the overall body work?
Yeah, so I listened to it the night it dropped. I believe I had some hookah going, maybe a couple of drinks, but
hookah, can't wait.
Yeah, we got that for 4 days straight. I just laid back and listened to it. Went into it with little to no expectations. I'm not gonna lie, Meek Mill, I always thought he was a dope artist, but I couldn't say he was like one of my favorite ever or anything. And just went into it with an open mind, walked away thinking to myself, somewhat similar to my criticism of CLB, like, this is the same person, kind of aggressive, loud tone throughout the album with a couple like heartfelt, emotional tracks. I didn't walk away with my mind blown by any means. There was a few songs in there where I was like, okay, like, these are really dope, and I will add them to my playlist and replay them. But
which songs were those, by the way?
My favorite one is that I played the most was called Outside. Is it Outside? Yeah, Outside, 100 miles per hour. I thought that
that was the second track, right?
Second track, yeah. I thought that one was the best banger. And then I really liked Expensive Pain as well as Cold Hearted 3. I thought the production on those was really good, and just
I think the production is great throughout, to be honest.
Not the biggest fan when he like sings and does those like Lil Durk-esque type tracks. I'm just not a fan of the like emotional trap type of songs.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, it was what it was. And yeah, I can't say I give it the highest rating, but it was a decently enjoyable experience, I would say.
Okay, so A to rating, what would you give it?
8. You said 8 to what?
like F, like kind of like what we
A
did
to
for TLB.
I would say, I'd say a C plus.
Okay. Okay,
And
so
for
like above
context,
average.
like an A is like a fucking classic. So I
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah,
give
yeah.
an A to anything for people viewing this. Who are like, oh, like he's better than whoever. Like C plus to me is like it's enjoyable but not memorable.
Yeah, so that was my, like, I think that line right there you just said is exactly where my head was at. Like, what I went into it with minimal expectations, kind of, bro. But, like, also, like, I still remember when he released, what was the last album, Champions? Like, whatever album he dropped right before,
Champions.
like, right when he got out of jail. Bro, I heard that shit once, dude, once. And I was like, classic. Like, I was like, give this shit all the Grammys, right? And even the album he dropped right before he went to jail, 19 something, whatever the fuck, whatever, it's like a year. But that I thought had so many songs. So my expectation was, bro, your last 2 bodies of work were very good. I'm expecting either the same or better, right? Because to a certain extent, like, the only comparison I ever give to Drake is like Drake sets the bar for Drake. I think Meek has set a fairly decent high bar for what Meek Mill is, right? Like, I think that's fair, right? So, just off that, I had higher expectations probably than you. And then, bro, the intro where they sampled Hate Me Now from Diddy and Nas, I was like, bro, this is going to be fucking banger after banger. Let's fucking go. And then after the intro, I'm just like, it's all right. You know what I mean? Like, I went through the whole thing and I was like, again, I'll give it 2 more spins because I always do. But I already went through that shit like 2.5 times. And I'm like, it's all right, man. Like, I had the song with Kalani, you know, a song for like females, and the song actually with Dirk and Lil Baby kind of grows on you after a while because I like Dirk's like the way he says murder, like that little, you know, is dope. But nothing that like for me when you said you added shit to your playlist, I was like, oh my, like I was ready for like, yo, about to be blown the fuck away, and I was like, yo, which song did he add, bro? Because I don't fucking.
That's the thing though, is like when I add shit to the playlist, like that's a victory for me.
Got it.
Because I'm like, oh, if I walk away with 2 or 3 repeats, because it's so hard for me to find repeatable music, then I walk away feeling happy. But obviously, from an album review standpoint, that's not enough to make the average person be like, yeah, this is
it. This is it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, dude, again, I think the production was very good. There was one production that wasn't bad, but kind of threw me off. It was the song featuring A$AP Ferg, because I don't know if for you, but the intro sounded just like any King Von song. So I was thinking he sampled like a King Von song and was like just gonna like pay homage to him or something, but it ended up being that. But I was like, the fuck is this? You know what I mean? So but yeah, dude, for me, nothing memorable, bro. Like again, besides the intro. And I know you said there was like what was the comment you said you saw online? About,
he should make an album where it's just full of intros,
like, right? Because this guy had the best intros ever. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, that's again besides that intro, which again, it's just because I love, dude. I remember when Diddy and Nas came out with "Hate Me Now," like that's when I was really again, I was a 7 or 8 year old falling in love with hip hop. So like that beat was everything to me. So it was more so the beat, but I think he actually spit some fire bars, and I think he actually has Popcorn like talking right in between the song as well. It's like again, that intro is fire. So that alone made me want to listen to it more and probably giving it a higher rating that I probably really would. Because again, I finished that album and I was like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? Like, good for you. And then like, it was weird though, because he commented, and like to Wes's point, give yourself the confidence, boast your shit. Bro, but when you release, like, when you know you've released 2 classic albums, don't tell me this is your best body of work with a straight face, bro. Like, bro, because I don't believe you, dog. Like, I'm like, bro, there's no way you believe that. But again, if he does, kudos to him for believing himself and doing his thing. Like, again, I'm glad he's free, making music, doing his thing. But yeah, bro, I would give it a rating of like a C. Like, I thought production great. There were a couple bars that I really felt by him. The one about like, you know, people said that I fell off, but now I'm well off. Like, that was, I get what you're saying, bro. Like, you know, people like us, like, we don't know what the fuck he's doing with his life. This guy could be making billions in the background, and we're just like, bro, like, that song with whoever sucks. Like, who the fuck are we? But as an overall body of work and consumption, I was like, bro, this is, I don't know like, how you think this ranks on the upper echelon of the stuff you've given us. Like, if I'm just comparing Meek to Meek, this is way down on all his bodies of work.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I haven't listened to every single body of work in full, but if I'm just thinking about all of the other tracks that I've heard from Meek up until this point, I wasn't blown away by this album. I feel like I didn't really walk away with too much extra knowledge. I feel like he's played deep into the like underdog character of like everyone's against him and things like that. But
also talking about that he's making like real big money moves, right?
Yeah,
like
making money moves.
Yeah, like hinting that I'm no longer like, I'm not just making money in rap. Like I'm making real serious fucking money, like actual wealth. So like, again, I respect that, bro, because I think he actually, because again, only if you go by what IG shows you, right? It shows him he's always with like fucking billionaires, like owners of fucking sporting teams who have way more money than the average fucking millionaire. Like, so again, if I'm gonna go off that, like I'm gonna believe him. But as far as like, again, for me personally, bro, there was no song that I would add to a playlist. Like, I think what you said to me offline was perfect. Like this music. Because I've already seen it on fucking thought pages that I follow, like the workout fucking pages. Like, this is perfect, like, background music for a girl working out. Like, that's what it is. Like, fire production. You're not really listening to the lyrics, but there's moments that you can see yourself, like, fucking, getting excited, but you're like, you don't really know what he's saying because you're not really paying attention. Like, that's what I think this is.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree. It was actually kind of difficult to hear some of the lyrics on the tracks where he's more like riled up and yelling. I know that's kind of a criticism that a lot of people have of him is it's almost like a shouting match on every song. Like even Tekashi's music gets that criticism, but I think that's what, for me personally, sometimes can make it a little more difficult to get into just because I'm not always in workout grind mode, which is why some of the tracks that I did prefer were the more mellow ones, like Expensive Pain, which is good chill background music. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty average for me in terms of the listening experience. I don't know if I'll walk away playing too much of it, even the ones that I added to my playlist, like, years from now. But hopefully we get some more good collaborations with him and other people like Drake or whoever else that might help bring a new side out of him.
Yeah. Again, by no means I'm only comparing. I think we're both only comparing Meek to Meek, and I think he has better bodies of work. But again, by no means this is not trash. Like I think a lot of people would find tracks to enjoy. I just didn't find it that memorable. But again, go check it out. There'll be no songs added to the Heat of the Week playlist. But go check it out. The intro is fire. So if anything, just listen to the intro, and that should be enough to make you listen to the other like 12 or 13 songs. But I think another thing that you wanted to bring up, and I know we're going to get out of here soon, but I wanted to talk about your own a couple of things you were focusing on. But I think one thing that you wanted to bring up was the Akon and R.Kelly comment.
Yeah. Apparently, so as you know, R.Kelly has been found guilty of whatever heinous crimes that he's been doing up until this point. Apparently fornicating with underage women or girls, and enslaving them in some cases, all kinds of
but this nigga's ready to snitch though. Did you see that today?
Oh yeah,
he told the judge,
he's ready to snitch on people. So we'll see if he might end up suiciding himself, as they say.
Wow.
But I thought it was interesting that Akon was in the news yet again with his controversial comments. He basically saying that God doesn't make mistakes, and R. Kelly deserves the ability to redeem himself, essentially. And of course, for obvious reasons, a lot of people are like, what are you talking about? You're defending a pedophile or someone who, at the very least, is an evil person and taking advantage of women. And I know a lot of the people that commented probably would consider themselves religious. So I guess for someone who was like formally religious, like at what point first of all, how does someone redeem themselves? Because I don't want to mention the other artist's name, but a lot of people don't like people aligning with this artist because of his previous domestic abuse case. However, he served his time, came out, and to our knowledge hasn't done anything since. So at what point do people forgive and say, you know, this person has washed their sins away and has redeemed themselves? And is there ever anything that's unforgivable? Or is it always just up to the individual to kind of pick and choose what they want to forgive?
Yeah, that's a great question, bro. But just to go back for a second to his comment, like, so God doesn't make mistakes, right? But so if you're saying that as a Christian, right? As a Christian, if you're acknowledging God, you're also acknowledging there's an evil as well, right? And there is a devil, if you believe in Christianity, there is a devil that's tempting you and trying to overcome you. So maybe God doesn't make any mistakes, but maybe the devil was able to get a hold of this dude and, you know, make him stray away from God's path. So that's also a possibility, right? As far as like, when do we allow someone to redeem themselves, bro? Like, unfortunately, like, fortunately, there are laws that take care of that for us, bro. So like, I'm not sure which artist you're talking about, but whatever laws that he broke, the law said he can go home and then you can be on the path to redeem yourself. The laws that R.Kelly broke say that he's going to be in jail for the rest of his fucking life. So there is no redeeming yourself, bro. Like, you lost the ability to redeem yourself when you did all these things that, again, allegedly, the court found you guilty of, bro. So, I don't know. For me, there is no redeeming, bro. Like, you can redeem yourself when you're a free man or free woman, and then you can go about making acts of, you know, that, well, at least publicly redeeming yourself, right? I mean, he may be able to redeem himself with God and just apologize for his sins and, you know, try to not have those negative thoughts in his head when, he's in prison. But as far as redeeming yourself, bro, like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like the law kind of just does all that work for us. You know what I mean? Like, if you're sentenced to 175 years in prison, fam, there's a reason, dog. Like, you did some heinous fucking shit, so.
Right. I mean, I think that's also why I don't like this intersection of religion and the law, because what if hypothetically he serves 2 years in prison and then someone goes, see, he's done the time and now he can
live his life.
Live his life. And like, I know someone who committed a pretty heinous crime back in high school. Fortunately, I wasn't still around him at that period, but he basically tried to kill a girl. I think because either she didn't want to go to prom with him, or just because he was like, I probably can't have her, so let me kill her. But he was never found guilty. Long story short, his parents were like filthy fucking rich, and he somehow got out of that situation. But he tried to use that as an excuse to prove his innocence, like, to people, like, hey, I never spent a day in jail, therefore I'm this
because there are loopholes. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I'm not too sure where I was gonna go with this whole Akon comment thing, but I just thought it was.
Well, I got a side note on Akon, bro. You know, bro, he is so rich that he knows he's saying the most outlandish shit and does not give a fuck anymore. Like, that's wealth, bro. Like, that is wealth. Because, bro, the shit that he, like, the fact that he, like, took, like, Tekashi under his wing when Tekashi was the most toxic, and, dude, he let fucking Tekashi do a remix to I'm Locked Up. Are you fucking kidding me, bro? Like, and then to come out with this comment, you're like, bro, this nigga is so rich. Like, he just doesn't care.
Yeah, maybe it's out of pure boredom or some shit. Because, well, the other controversial comment was that rich people have bigger problems than poor people or something, and everyone's, of course, up in arms about that. Probably the people who are less fortunate as well. Because I mean, if this fucking billionaire or whatever is telling you he has all kinds of problems, you're gonna be like, yo, I'd love to have those problems. But yeah, I don't know. It just got me thinking about, like, what is forgivable, because there was that case where that cop or whatever wrongfully shot that black man in his home because she, like, went to the wrong house or some shit and thought it was hers, but it ended up being that black guy's. And then the son forgave her after she was crying in court and everything. And people were like, no, don't forgive him. But the son was like, yo, I'm Christian. This is part of, like, what we need to do to heal and get closer to God and shit. But then of course, as a human being, it's really difficult to think that way and think that's rational. So
yeah,
I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting debate and thing that came from Akon's mouth.
Yeah, it's wild, bro. I mean, me personally, bro, I don't think it's redeemable, man. It's a disguise. I mean, it's so funny, like, how our thought process would change as we get older. Because, again, at some point, I mean, obviously, you're about to get married in, like, 3-4 months. Like, you know, I'm thinking about down the road as well as I get, you know, approaching another birthday in my 30s, right? And you're like, bro, what if that was your daughter, bro? You know what I mean? Like, what if you had a 12-year-old and fucking R.Kelly's trying to fucking pipe? Like, are you fucking kidding me? You know what I mean? So, like, that's, like... When we're younger and we're like, nah, yo, he made Ignition. Like, there's no fucking way. Like, he's the man. But now it's just like, and like, we're watching the Dave Chappelle skit, and he's like, pee on you, and we're like, oh, this is hysterical. This guy's this guy's pissing on the girls. Like, it's great. But then as you get older, you're like, fuck, bro. Like, that could be my daughter in 10 years. Like, are you? Like, I would fucking kill this. Redeem. Like, I'm gonna kill him, bro. Like, are you fucking kidding? So like. Yeah, man. Like, I don't. Me personally, like, again, I don't know what the court found guilty and what was shown, but fam, like, if all that shit's true, like, I personally can never like, there is no redemption for that, bro. Like, you redeem yourself with God, fam. Like, when you die, like, you tell him like what happened and let me know if he forgives you or not. Because I know if I'm a future father, like, yo, that shit, fam. There's no way.
Yeah. And for the record, I definitely don't support R. Kelly. I honestly wasn't even the biggest fan of his music.
Nah, part of me still bangers, dog. He got bangers.
He does. Actually, I mean, some of the bangers I like Ignition. I feel like is so played out. I'm sick of hearing that in college and like weddings and shit. Because I mean, it is dope when you're in the moment, but I would never listen to that in my car alone because I've heard that song too.
Nah, bro. He got more than just that, dude. He got bangers, though. I feel
Best
like
of both worlds.
That some of the songs on that, but bro, like, I really think this is no cap at all on my end. And again, I already told you, like, I hate him as a person, but fam, musically, I think if you made a classic like his hits, greatest hits, like, you would need like 3 discs. It'd be a 3-disc album. Like, that's how many fucking hits he has, dude.
He would need 3 albums just for that Trapped in the Closet song where he had like 50 remixes.
I think he fell off. Like, that's where I think he fell off musically. But before that, bro, like, there was an album where like it's just like the R, and like that was a part 1 and part 2. Think about all the ones where it's like him and Ron Isley. Like, I don't know the name of those songs, but it's like the fuck, man, what is the name of those songs, bro? The one that he gets caught cheating with Ron Isley's girlfriend. The Down Low. Keep It on the Down Low. Like, there's 3 versions of that song alone, bro, which are all fucking classics. Like, yeah, bro, like, this guy has hits, dog. Like, hits. But I think, unlike Michael Jackson, where I think people were just like, man, we don't really know enough, so give him the benefit of the doubt. I think we just know too much, man, that, nah, bro, I don't think people are even like gonna fuck around. Like, yeah, let's play his song and like let's not make it a big deal. Whereas like with Michael, we're like, yo, play that shit. Like, fuck it, man. Like, he's gotta respect. Like, you know, let the dead rest in peace. Like, you know, he was never actually charged with anything. Blah blah blah. So, where I think with Kelly, we're like, just like, nah, fam, we're done with you.
Well, I hope he does out whoever it is that might have been doing the same shit as him, and I hope it's not out of spite either. Like, in the sense of this person didn't defend me, so I'm gonna make shit up about.
Oh, like that, person. Like it's lies. Yeah,
like lies. I hope it's not lies just to get at someone who, you know, threw him under the bus or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But hopefully, like, the evidence will prove that it's not lies. But yeah, we'll see, dude. But great topic. But again, when you told me that, I was more like, dude, Akon is just so rich, bro. Like, this motherfucker just like does not care. Like, yo, cancel me, dog. I got way too much money. Like, yo, try to cancel me, dog. I don't care. Yeah. But before we get to Heat of the Week, bro, and get out of here, I want to just ask you, because you mentioned, you know, like the concept of one of your songs. So yeah, what are you working on right now? What do you have a rollout in mind? Like, let people know what's going on.
Rollout, not a specific date or month. I definitely want to get it out before the end of the year.
Okay.
So I have 3 songs I finished recording. Like I mentioned, one of them has it's called Thirst Trap, at least temporarily, but it has it's just a commentary on social media behaviors that men and women tend to engage in, and kind of just asking myself like, why the fuck do I care what my friends think sort of tone. It's not a banger in the sense of like you played in the club necessarily, but it has a nice vibe to it. So hoping to get that one out as soon as possible. And then the other two songs, similar content to what I've talked about and what we've even talked about, just doing my crafts and kind of never feeling like it's enough. It's like always chasing a new high, so to speak. I know we've asked even just Adam before, like, you know, do you ever feel that pressure to top your last shit? And he's like, not necessarily, but like, you know, obviously you got to keep it going. So now that Ignore Me's over with, and like that was my personal favorite of mine, that in terms of like just the quality and radio ready sound, now I'm like, fuck, I gotta keep putting out more shit that's like just as good, if not better. So kind of has that content piece as part of it. But yeah, just at this point I have to get it mixed and mastered by an engineer and then ultimately release it. So hopefully I'll have those out by the end of the year, which means I would have released 7 songs, which is a few short of my goal, but
7 more songs than last year.
Yeah, so excited about that. I'm glad that I stuck to my guns and didn't, you know, fold after just doing a couple songs this year.
Dude, amazing, dude. Yeah, so again, I'm excited to hear them, bro. Obviously you go send it to me if you want any, you know, input beforehand, but I'm sure it's gonna be great. And obviously, you know, we'll do everything we can on the pod to, you know, push it even further. So awesome, bro. Looking forward. So what's Thirst Trap? You don't have a title yet for the other song?
Thirst Trap, Fully Loaded, and then the other one is Not Enough.
Not Enough. Nice.
Yep.
Nice. Awesome, brother. All right, man. Let's get out of here in a second. But before we do, let's get into some heat of the week. I'll start off. Shout out to our boy Wes, who we interviewed last week. Took a deep dive into his catalog, and there was a few, but like we tried it. Just you guys know, I deleted like a bunch of songs off the playlist just for everyone, right? Because I want to curate it to, like, you know, if you listen to it at the gym or on wherever, like it sounds like one cohesive thing. So I didn't add like all fucking 10 of his songs, but we could have, because they were that fire. But for me, I'm gonna go with Ghost. That is just a banger, bro. And like I re-listened to the catalog after the interview because we got insight on like where his thought process was, and it's dope to think that, like, you know, the first part of the song is him about ghosting a girl, and the beat gets mad aggressive midway, and then it's about him saying, you know, someday I'm gonna be able to afford a ghost and drive around. So yeah, man, super creative. Love the lyrics, production A1, to be perfectly fucking honest. So Ghost by West, definitely heat of the week. We'll play that one in Colombia, I'm sure, at some point.
Fire. Yeah, definitely not mad at that one. I love the beat switch. He talked about it during the interview, and I thought he executed that one very, very well. In terms of my heat of the week, you're going to hate me for this one. Outside by Meek, 100 miles per hour. Obviously not the most, I don't know, what's the word? Substantive song, most meaningful song or anything, but I think the production on that song was one of my favorites off of the album.
What got it over the top for you?
Yeah. And I'm sure if we hear it on the loudspeakers, you know, maybe we'll change our mind, or you'll change your mind when we're partying and everything. But
yeah, dude, again, it's great background music, so I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, yeah, okay.
It's not a memorable moment.
It's it's not.
Of what we're,
yeah. It was like another song that on the 14 songs on the album, but yeah.
But yeah, that one I thought was a big banger.
Nice. So Outside, Meek Mill, I'll get that on both playlists, obviously, and also Ghost by West. Dude, side note before we get out of here, what I actually also listened, I'm halfway through, but yo, the amount of respect that Rich the Kid must have from like industry goats, the fact that he dropped a joint project with Lil Wayne, I was like, bro, what? So they have a joint project called Trust Fund Babies. That's like the second time we use that phrase in this fucking pod. That's ridiculous.
Right.
But yeah, dude, I was just like, what the fuck? And And a couple of songs actually were dope. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, dude, I actually enjoyed the first 5 or 6 tracks maybe more than or as equally as I enjoyed the majority of the Meek album. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't want to get into it. Like, it's not a deep dive, but it was just intriguing. Like, I'm like, bro, this guy has, like, it's fire features, bro. Like, all the time. And, like, he's just, like, a fun person to listen to, I think. Like, I don't think anyone's ever going to Rich the Kid for, like, lyrical bars that are going to blow your mind away. But I think when we saw him at fucking Rolling Loud, I think we were both like, oh, this guy's, like, fun. You know what I mean? Like, this is a fun dude to fucking, watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, during quarantine, I mean, I've always been a fan of him. Like you said, not, like, a diehard fan that I'm, looking out for every album or anything. But during quarantine, I popped into his IG lives a lot. And he just seemed like a super laid back dude. So maybe he's just one of those guys in the industry that, like, knows how to have fun. He doesn't really get into beefs and shit. He's just, like, kind of in the background doing his thing, and you can't really hate him. Kind of like a Jack Harlow, but obviously not as out there. I think maybe what I know, he's, like, a huge skateboarder. I'm not sure if you're aware, but he's, like, really, really fucking good. And I wonder if
really?
He and Wayne, because I've seen them skateboard together. I wonder if they could bonded over that. And, like,
interesting.
That was his into this relationship, because I think Wayne may have said it, or maybe I'm making this up, but I'm pretty sure, like, unanimously people say he's the best skateboard rapper.
Really?
Best rapper who knows how to skateboard.
Dope.
So that could be why. But yeah, he's always, like, his connections are flawless.
Flawless, bro. Like, flawless. Like, yeah, I don't think there's any feature he can't get, to be perfectly honest. Like, besides Uzi Vert, like, for other reasons. But, like, yeah, I think, it was impressive. Yeah, and honestly, I'll listen to some more before Columbia, but I think there were actually, like, a couple bangers on this shit, like, that, like, songs that
I'll have to
weren't
check
bad.
it out too.
Yeah. Because I don't think there was really much else that came out besides those 2 last week. But awesome, my dude. Well, the next time I see you will be at an airport in Medellin, God willing. We get there both safe. So love you, man. We'll talk offline as far as any packing ideas, but let the people know what to do in the meantime.
For sure. Yeah, check us out at audio-theory.com. New episode every week, except for next week, because we'll, of course, be busy partying. But make sure you go to the site. You can get merch on the site. You can navigate to all of our playlists, this YouTube channel, the Spotify and Apple podcasts. So it's your universal center for everything as far as tuning in goes. But if you're watching this and you want to be interviewed, of course, we're constantly reviewing submissions. So please submit your music so we can have you on and chat about your journey.
Absolutely, bro. All right, my dude, we're out of here. Peace, everyone. Check us out.
Peace.
Love you, man. Peace.